A Michigan appeals court says it has reluctantly upheld a reduced prison sentence for a man who beat and AR'd his infant son, leading to the child's eventual death. After being AR'd, the 1-month-old child was dropped on the floor and beaten out of anger, court records show. The beating happened because the child regained consciousness. Damon Andrew Jackson was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for the 1997 crime and the child's subsequent death. But because Jackson was just a few weeks shy of his 18th birthday when the attack happened, he was afforded a new sentencing hearing in which the term of years was on the table. Now retired Kent County Circuit Court Judge Donald Johnston in 2018 upheld the life sentence, calling the offense horrendous and an unspeakable criminal act. That prompted an appeal. Johnston's successor, Judge Paul Deanfield, in 2022 opted instead for a term of years. Deanfield concluded that Jackson has indeed been rehabilitated. He sentenced Jackson to between 35 to 60 years, a move Kent County prosecutor Chris Becker opposed. This is one of the most abhorrent crimes we have ever seen in this county: molesting your own 1-month-old child, sodomizing him, and leading it to his death. Becker said, "I don't know how you get much worse than that." It is the 11-page ruling which came out last week. The Court of Appeals said Deanfield's lighter sentence will stand. Justice Christopher M. Murray was less than enthusiastic with the support of the reduced sentence. His reasoning was spelled out in a 9-minute concurrence. Michigan case law governing juvenile sentences for murder has resulted in effectively immunizing individuals under 19 who committed murder from receiving a life sentence without parole, Murray wrote. Jackson, now 44, is at the state prison in Muskegon. With credit for time served, he is eligible for release more than 4 years away. Johnston, the judge who was originally assigned to the case, called it one of the most disturbing in his 40-year career as a judge. "This is just about the worst of the worst. It's so awful," he said. Jackson is one of the so-called juvenile lifers whose sentences require review after the U.S. Supreme Court in 2012 declared mandatory life without parole for juveniles unconstitutional. He was among more than 300 Michigan prisoners serving no parole sentences who were afforded an opportunity for release following the high court decision. Former Kent County prosecutor William Fosworth and Becker, his successor, said Jackson should never be let out of prison. The crime happened in Grand Rapids a few days after Labor Day 1997. The baby David was beaten and assaulted while his mother attended school. Brainstem injuries consistent with shaken baby syndrome left him blind and deaf. In addition to suffering severe physical injuries, the victim was also an undated courtesy photo of baby David, definitely sexually abused, records show. Sperm was found in the victim's mouth. Jackson was initially charged with first-degree child abuse and criminal sexual conduct. A felony murder charge was filed when David died 2 days later. The defense argued that Jackson was criminally insane. Jurors weren't swayed. Jackson was convicted in January 2001, sentenced to life without parole. The sentence was upheld in 2003. Then came 2012 U.S. Supreme Court ruling. In 2016, justices said it was retracted for all juvenile mandatory life without parole sentences. That set stage for resentencing hearings in which judges must consider 5 factors when determining if a no parole sentence is justified. Factors include the defendant's age and maturity, home life, and circumstances of offense. Judge Johnson presided over the hearing in 2018 and upheld the life without parole sentence. He retired at the end of the year. Lawyers for Jackson appealed, saying his legal representation in 2018 hearing was ineffective. A second hearing was then held in November 2021 before Deanfield, who inherited the case from Johnston. The two judges have divergent views. Deanfield 3 months later ruled that a term of years was warranted. It is undisputable that the defendant's shockingly dysfunctional and abusive home environment had a significant impact on him as a teenager and young adult. Deanfield wrote in a 22-page opinion in favor of a reduced sentence. It is also clear that the defendant's prison records are stellar and that he has indeed been rehabilitated. On May 9th, Appeals Court Justice Michael J. Kelly, Kathleen Jansen, and Christopher M. Murray sided with Deanfield. They ruled the term of years was appropriate. "We cannot conclude that the trial court abused its discretion by resentencing the defendant to a term of years," they wrote. Johnston said he still believes a life sentence is appropriate, given the circumstances of the case, including that Jackson was 2.5 weeks shy of his 18th birthday when the crime took place. "It seems to me that the people who are under 17 and 18 years old can and do frequently commit atrocious criminal acts, and I'm not sure that they should get particularly soft treatment simply because of their chronological age," he said. "I think that if we didn't or don't firmly and even-handedly enforce the law, we make it more common, more popular, easier for people to violate the law and commit these kinds of terrible acts," Johnston added. "So for my thinking, it's not a good idea, but then again, the powers that be have made these decisions, and that's the law. I don't have to like it, but it's the law." Tell me what y'all think, man. This is crazy. We always talk about, sentencing people under the age of 25 to natural life without parole, but I believe in unusual circumstances, it is warranted. How could you ever trust a Mirage? He are a 1-year-old child. I don't care if it was the child was 1.5, 2 years. He are a 1-year-old child and killed them. You cannot have people like this on society. This is just too far. This is not spinning the block on your ops, homie. This is not committing an armed robbery out of necessity and desperateness and not knowing no better. This is just not nothing like that. This is beyond that, homie. This is horrible. Tell me what y'all think in the comments, though.